It's time to talk farming. Welcome back to Cocky Gachas, and in this video I'm talking to you guys about farming. In particular, when is it good to party versus when is it good to solo, and what are the pros and cons of each of these farming methods. So you can see right now I'm currently farming and I'm on my combat time. I'm left with currently 12 minutes because I'm on the double time, right? So I'm only left with 12 minutes and I am soloing the whole way. And the reason for why I'm soloing can be multiple fold, but first we're just going to talk about whether the party aspect truly benefits you, right? So if we were to go into the party aspect now, I just created a party, you can see that people party mainly for a few reasons, because they want to have the aspect of getting extra EXP. So every time when you party, right, you're going to obtain extra EXP. So for a 2-member party on the same map itself, they are going to have 20% bonus, and for 3 party 30%, 4-member party 40%, and 5-member party 50%. So this is what attracts people to party. However, is it really the best all the time? And if it is really so good, why am I not partying when I am leveling my character? So what I want to talk about is, in ideal scenarios, you always want to party. So I just want to lay it out there first. You want to party with as much people or as many people as possible. Always have 5-member parties when you're farming, if it is an ideal world whereby everyone kills the monsters as fast as you. And of course, we know that we don't live in ideal worlds. And right here you can see for my farming itself, right, I'm 1-hit KOing the Stroth, I'm 1-hit KOing the Swordfish. So this is the 2 mobs that I'm farming. So my farming efficiency for this map itself can be said to be maximized already. So for instance, someone is killing the mob as fast as me, I contribute 100% of EXP, they contribute 100% of EXP. In a 2-man party, we are going to get 100% XP, 100% XP, and then extra 40% XP. Divide again, we get 120%. So we are going to get 20% boost provided we both kill the same, right? What if they were to kill slower than me, they're going to kill not as efficient as me? What is the limit, right? So if you take this into consideration, the limit is when both of our EXPs add up to 200% and then we divide by 2, we get back 100%. That is the minimum for me to break even, right? So there is certain threshold that you have to meet, right? Below a certain threshold, you wouldn't be able to obtain technically better EXP than you would to solo. But the problem is we can't tell whether the person that we are going to invite into the party is going to contribute how much of the farming, unless you were to really monitor them farming, right? A lot of times you want to AFK, and a lot of times, like when I'm farming, I'll just go do other stuff, right? I wouldn't want to watch my screen to see whether they are contributing that much, and it really brings a lot of micromanagement, so to speak, if you were to include other people in your party, especially if there are people that you don't know and you can't trust them, right? I've seen plenty of people, right, just standing in the map itself because they run out of SP pots, so they are just outright contributing 0% of the EXP. Just imagine that. If they are contributing 0%, you're contributing 100%, you get 20% EXP. You're only getting 60%, right? So situations like this do happen. So if you do not want to have the stress of like going to micromanage people, going to see whether this person is contributing, then I would say that soloing might be a lot more stress-free, and you can also dictate when you want to farm, right? So for instance, right now I'm farming and maybe this is the only time that I am free to farm. So I wouldn't have a time to make a party to find people that want to farm at my training spot, especially for like Undersea level 3. It's not exactly the most popular training spot, which brings me to the next point, right? If you are on a popular training spot like the Nightmare spot, right? If you're farming Nightmares, that's super popular, then maybe it's easier for you to find parties. And also the fact that if you were to be able to find more people, right, like I said, the EXP mechanics of the party itself, for 2 people is 20%, for 3 people is 30%, 40%, 50%. If you really have a 5-man party, I would say that it is most of the time quite safe as long as they contribute non-zero amounts. Even if one person contributes 0 amount, if the rest of them contribute somewhat like 80% of your farming speed, you should still be able to break even at the worst. However, that means that you need to monitor 5 people, right? If 2 of them contribute 0% amounts, I think you are still going to lose out in the long run. Although if you were to party, you might still be able to benefit a bit from monster research, but for that itself, I would rather join like a dedicated monster research party. And also this also brings me to a point, some people honestly, they don't care whether you're recruiting for an EXP farming party or a monster research party, and they would just join you and they would go to the spot, they will hit it as if they are monster researching. And a lot of times when people are monster researching, including me myself, I don't really use my skills, I just use auto attack and let my Baphomet JR do the job, right? So you can imagine how slow the farming speed is going to be compared to me like this using Clashing Spiral and doing one hit KOs to the mob. So a lot of times there are so many factors to consider that I would feel like soloing might be even a better choice just to keep myself stress-free, right? I can just farm whenever I want. However, if you were to have your guildmates that you can trust and you would to have fixed farming parties, definitely go for it, right? That is when I would say that partying is definitely 100% worth it. Now, another important thing that I want to mention is that all my presumptions here is based on people farming in solo spots. What do I mean by solo spots? So when you're a brand new beginner, you might not understand this, right? When someone parties you, you might just walk to them. For instance, if they are currently farming over here, right, in this spot itself, when you join a party, you might think that all of you are going to farm on the same spot. So all of you is going to come here and then you're going to start hitting the monsters, you contribute your share, they contribute their share. So this at the start of the game might be decently worth it, because if you are farming on a spot whereby you are not able to kill them for full respawn speeds, they are going to respawn faster than you are able to kill them, right? Then it might make sense for you to have two people like on the same spot killing off the monsters. But most of the time, I would say the best is for everyone to stand on their own spot, right? Because like I mentioned, when I talk about 100%, they contribute 80%. That is based on the fact that they are going to stand on their own spots. They are going to have a separate pool of monsters to fight, right? Imagine what I did just now, right? Because right now I'm already fatigued, I finished my farming. What I was doing just now was farming over here, right? You can see that if I were to just turn on again to show you guys, right? I'm already killing all the monsters 100% of the time, right? And just when they respawn, I'm killing them again. So there is no like way for someone else to come in here and be able to have extra monsters to kill to generate extra EXP. So for beginners, you definitely want to understand this concept of solo spot. Just go find your own spots, and optimally you want all 5 people on separate spots. You don't want any one of them to be on the same spot as you, especially when you get higher level. You should be able to clear the spots very easily, and the respawn time is more of a concern rather than your killing speed. So the next thing I'm also going to touch on, like I mentioned just now, is going to be monster research. For monster research, it's quite self-explanatory, right? Every time one of your party members on the same map kills off any of these mobs itself, you are going to contribute 1 count on the monster research. Hence, there is no EXP aspect. There's no technically no penalty for you to party someone that kills off or kills the monsters slower than you. Even if they are AFK, you are still going to be killing off the monsters at your own pace, right? So you can only go up when it comes to monster research. So always party, find 5 people, right? Try to shout on the world chat itself. You can see they are looking for MR, which is monster research, and then the place that they are farming the monster research, and then how many people they need. So this is basically what you should always do. Monster research, always party. Now that I'm done talking about the partying versus soloing aspects when it comes to farming EXP, when it comes to farming monster research, the next segment is going to be what a lot of people are interested in, and that is going to be the card farming aspect. So you can see right here, I'm currently farming using my monster annihilation time. This aspect is mainly just to farm cards. I would suggest you to focus on farming cards. So right here, I'm farming the skeleton worker card and just hoping that it drops, but people are confused, right? Should I party? Should I solo? So on the topic on whether you should party for monster annihilation, my opinion is that strictly you should just solo. Honestly, if everyone has the same kill rate, then it would be no different from you soloing. However, if people were to be slacking off, I have seen instances where people have gotten their cards go to other people, right? Because the loot in the party is all shed. So your cards would go to other people. I'm sure you don't want that to happen. So in most cases, you just want to solo. Honestly, there's not much benefit other than getting a bit of extra kills on your monster research, but just join a monster research party, right? You don't want to risk someone slacking off but getting that skeleton worker type that you have been farming for weeks. Now, what happens if I use a candy? What happens if I don't use a candy? I'm also going to cover like the combat time aspects when it comes to this, but it's all going to be based on one assumption, because no one exactly knows the exact card drop rate for each of the cards, the purple cards, the blue cards, the green cards. But what I'm going to say is that my assumption is going to be, if we were to go to the skeleton worker card, you can see that there is a card drop progress. So we are going to track the effectiveness of the various modes, right, based on this card drop progress. So if I were to do something, I were to use a candy and it gives me more card drop progress, I am going to assume that using the candy is going to be more effective for having card drops, right? So this is based on this assumption, and I think a lot of people can agree that this is a very fair assumption. So what I'm going to tell you is that first is when you go into your combat time aspects. When you have your combat time aspects, when you have your candy over here, right, this is a speedy candy. Should you use a speedy candy? The answer is yes. I have heard people on the Discord telling other people that, hey, if you don't use a speedy candy, you are going to have 2 times the amount of mobs to fight, which means you are going to have 2 times the amount of drops, right? However, what I've tested is that the card PT progress itself actually doubles when you use a speedy candy, and if you think about it logically, what they are saying doesn't make any sense. This is something that is technically you have to buy it with the diamond itself in the shop, right? Otherwise you can get it for free, but this is a benefit. There is no reason for the developers to make it such that the candies itself make you less likely to obtain cards because you are fighting more or fighting less mobs, right? So in fact, I would think that the card drops are doubled, just as they say the EXP benefits and the drops are doubled. So this does include cards based on the fact that the card PT actually doubles if you were to farm for the same amount of time, one without candy and one with candy. So always use speedy candy. Don't be afraid of using speedy candy just because people is going to tell you that you have to farm more mods. That is absolute bullshit. That's super cap. Okay, the next thing is going to be the monster annihilation. So monster annihilation, should you use the candy? So for candy over here, right, lucky candy, it does say that user will be able to obtain a special effect for 30 minutes when activating the monster annihilation blessing. Killing wild monsters has a 100% chance to trigger 2 drops. And so here people might be asking, hey, should I use it? And for reference, look at what I'm doing. I am not using it. And why am I not using it? Because I'm stupid? No, because I have personally tested and I know that this is not going to benefit me at all. What this means is that it's just going to trigger for various basic drops. And as you can see right here, when I'm farming the skeleton worker, if you were to go into the monster archive and you go into the loot over here, you can see that these loots itself, right, honestly, they are not too great. And also the fact is, because I'm much higher than the skeleton worker itself, I'm only obtaining 50% of the EXP as well as the material drop. So if I were to use the lucky candy, it doesn't make any sense. And also you can see card drops are not affected by this. I wouldn't want to use lucky candy since I'm only strictly wanting to farm cards. Although some might argue that if you have a lot of lucky candy, you still want to use it because it's going to generate 2 times the Eden coin drop. So you're going to get more Eden coins when you farm using monster annihilation type. But basically that's about it. This is the conclusion. But of course, just me saying it is not going to prove anything. So I'm going to do an experiment to show you guys exactly using my alternate account, my wizard itself, by farming both combat time as well as monster annihilation time, and you guys are going to see the results firsthand yourself. So as you can see right now, I'm on my alternate mage account and the server time is 16:14, right? So we are going to test in 30 minutes intervals until we obtain all the test results. So currently my monster research, my card PT drop rate is 3.7%. Okay, so 3.7%, I'm going to first farm 30 minutes of combat time without any candy, and we are going to come back in 30 minutes to see what happens. And we are back. So now it's 16:44, so let's take a look at the monster research. Honestly, I'm not sure if I'm even gotten 0.1% because skeleton worker is quite hard to farm. Yeah, correct. You see, it's still the exact 3.7%, so I got less than 1%, that is for sure. So now I'm going to start doing it with my candy. So I'm just going to turn on the candy, get it over here, speedy candy, use it. So now it starts to consume 2 times. I'm going to return again after 30 minutes and we are going to see what progress we're going to make with this 30 minutes with the speedy candy. And we are back 30 minutes again. It's 17:14. So let's take a look at the monster research. Hopefully it did jump to 3.8%. So going here, you can see it did jump to 3.8%. However, because the jumps were so micro, we can't exactly compare. But I have also tested multiple times on my own character, just that today I don't have the combat time, so I wasn't able to showcase using my own character. So I can only show you guys this. But for the next segment itself, it's going to be a lot better, a lot easier to see. So the next thing we're going to do is to test out monster annihilation, and same thing, I'm going to run for 30 minutes with monster annihilation without the the speedy or the lucky candy, and then subsequently we are going to do it with the lucky candy. So we are going to go in there, we're going to turn on our monster annihilation. So I'll see you guys again in 30 minutes. So it's been 30 minutes. Let's check out the progress over here. Going into our details for the monster archive, we should be able to see, right? So it's 4.2%, we gained 0.4%. So next we are going to test out with the lucky candy instead. So you can see here, I'm going to activate my lucky candy. I do have a couple of those. So once I use the lucky candy, we are going to wait for 30 minutes. I'll come back again and we'll see the results. And it's once again 30 minutes with using the lucky candy. So we can go into the monster archive once again. Let's take a look. 4.6%, so it's exactly the same as not using any lucky candy. We obtain 0.4% of progress on the card PT, which makes me think that there is no difference between using the lucky candy and not using lucky candy, right? So definitely save up your lucky candies, right? If you really want to use the lucky candy, I would say it's just for Eden coins, but do take note, like I've mentioned, the further you are from the level of the monster you're trying to farm, the less things you're going to get. So the effect of the lucky candy is going to be less and less when used in such scenarios when you're using monster annihilation. And that about does it for this video, where I touch on farming in general, right? Be it partying, soloing for EXP, monster research, and also monster annihilation, the card PT drop rate, whether using candy is good. So everything I think should be covered in this video. If you guys have any more questions, definitely leave a comment in the comment section below. I'll try my best to answer them if I do have the answer itself. Also, if you're interested in checking out the pet guide, the pet system, you're confused about that, definitely check out this video over here. I'll see you guys over there. This is Corky Gachas signing off.